Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another College and Career Pathway, where we are meeting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. to provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, skilled trade professions, technical schools, training programs, career exploration, employment opportunities, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Tony Curtin, your host, and today we are with Emily from oh my God, tongue-tied here, Montcalm College, and we're going to be finding out um, all about the programs that they offer and admission requirements and all that good stuff. So Emily, welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks so much. And good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Emily. I'm the admissions representative at Montcalm Community College. And just a brief introduction to MCC. So of course, as a community college, we're kind of there for the community and everyone in that community. And that's reflected in our programs. We try to have really relevant programs for jobs that are in demand. We also have a lot of student services, a lot of support built in. We like to think of ourselves as, because we're small, that we're very family-like. And then also, of course, that's built into our cost, our low cost, and our class structure as well. So I'll go over all those things. So just an introduction to where we're located. Montcalm Community College's main campus is located in Sidney, Michigan. And that's where you're going to find things like our library, our Olympic-sized swimming pool, the gym. That campus is surrounded by 200 acres of nature with nature trails and lakes within it. So it's a really beautiful area. But we also have a Greenville campus. The Greenville campus is primarily focused on the trades, and that's where all of our hands-on labs are located. So if you're looking to go into something like industrial maintenance or skilled trades, welding, all of those labs are located there. And then just a little bit about the programs that we do have to offer. So we have 60 plus programs, and we have more than just associate degrees, but there's a variety of levels of training that you can get with us, essentially to prepare you for whatever career path you're planning to go into. So you could do a job training with us. So for example, if you wanted to become a CNA or a certified nursing assistant, we would have that job training available. And that looks like one course that you would take maybe over the summer or the fall or spring semester, and then you would be ready to go into that job. We also have like the training needed to become a Michigan Department of Corrections officer. So we do have job trainings where if you're looking to like add a skill to your tool belt, you can come to us, for example, for welding, or if you're looking to go straight into some of these careers that only require a job training, we offer some of those. And then at our certificate level, you're looking at about a year's worth of training and about 10 classes. But our certificate level 2, you're really focusing on just one specific area. So for example, we have certificates in business. We have a certificate to become a medical assistant. We have a welding certificate. So maybe by the end of your welding certificate, you're ready to go and get your state certifications or licensing. So again, with our certificates, those can take about a year, and those are particularly focused on your area of study. And then of course, we have that associate degree level. And the difference between these 3 levels here, this is just an example I have of like how our welding program flows through a job training into a certificate and then into an associate degree in welding. And we're going to have our job trainings that are going to be connected to the classes that you'd need for a certificate and similar classes from a certificate into an associate degree. But of course, the difference with our associate degrees is that you're going to have those general education classes, or about a year's worth of those like math, sciences, arts, and humanities, communication classes and things like that. So a little bit about some career paths that we have to offer, but again, we have 60 plus, and we also have a ton of transfer opportunities. So like in the area of business or biology, exercise science, we have a lot of transfer pathways with our institutions across the state of Michigan. So some of those career pathways include welding, nursing, but as I mentioned, a CNA or a medical assistant as well. We have criminal justice, digital arts, We also have like an arts transfer pathway if you're thinking about more arts in general versus digital arts. We have agribusiness and we also have agriculture operations, and both of those programs connect to programs at Michigan State University. We have a cosmetology management program. We also have a lot of different business related opportunities. So you can do management with us, but also entrepreneurship or marketing. We have industrial automation. We also have, like I mentioned, skilled trades. So if you're looking to become like a machinist or a maintenance mechanic or work with tool and die or CAD, we also have an engineering technology 2-year degree for transfer. And then I like to show this video here just so that you can see some of the labs at the Greenville campus, to see some of those hands-on interactive labs. And just to brief some of the, again, you're interested in kind of going into those trades, those insurers that will have, so for example, that like math, where it's very like technical, exactly what you'd use on the job. Deb is going to be the person who's going to teach a lot of those like machine operation related classes. And then Peter is the instructor of our classes. Another thing that I really recommend that you explore looking at our programs is on our main page. So if you go to a Google search for Montcalm Community College, it will pull up our main page, montcalm.edu. And on that main page, you can find this search tool, which can be really useful because you can type in any words of interest, like you could type in the word computer, and it would pull up all of our options related to computers, which would include certificates, associate degree job trainings, as well as like different ways that you can go into like different pathways in computer science. So with that, then you can compare the programs, you can look at costs, you can look at the classes that you would take in that program. So this is a really useful tool if you're looking to start exploring our programs. And then another thing to just really mention and focus on, which is true of community colleges, is that they can be a really great starting point for transfer to a 4-year degree or 4-year institution. So you can start at Montcalm Community College with some of those general education courses. So general education classes, if you're planning to get either a 2-year associate degree or a 4-year bachelor's degree, no matter what career path you're going into, you'll have to have those general education classes. So you could start with those with us. You could pursue a certificate with us or an associate degree. Like I mentioned, we have these pathways in business and in biology and in health sciences where you start with us for 2 years and then you can transfer on to another institution to finish your last 2 years there. So kind of that idea of starting with us and being that much closer to graduation with a 4-year degree. And then another thing to kind of mention and keep in mind is with a 4-year degree, this is kind of the breakdown of what you're looking at. So maybe you come and look on our website and you research something like interior design, and you're like, oh, MCC doesn't have a degree for interior design. Well, if you're going to pursue a 4-year degree related to that, then about 31% of that 4-year degree are those general education classes. So what they call common curriculum here. So again, we're always a starting point for students, or can be a starting point for students, no matter what 4-year degree you might want to pursue, because you can start with at least those general education classes and then transfer on afterwards. A little bit about the classroom experience. So our typical class size is 12 students to one instructor. So when you're thinking about that concept of match and fit, if smaller class sizes, getting to know your classmates well and getting to know your instructor well are important to you, then we might be a really good fit. So our instructors are very accessible. They have office hours, both virtual and in person, but also, which can be sometimes different from larger institutions. So at larger institutions, a lot of times instructors or professors are also there for research. And so they may be more focused on their research than teaching, or may have graduate assistants teaching your basic classes. But at Montcalm Community College, our instructors are there only to teach. And they're there because they love their subject area and they like to work with students and to teach. So that's a unique difference that you'll find with us as well. And then just so you know, there's a lot of advising and counseling and support at Montcalm Community College. So we like to introduce the faces of our 3 academic advisors or counselors, mostly because once you start coming to Montcalm Community College, one of these people is going to be who you work with to map out your plan of how many classes you're going to take at a time, and to kind of map out a plan for completing your program. Or maybe along the way, you change your mind about what you want to do, or maybe you were undecided at the beginning. They're going to help you with those pieces, and they're also going to be very helpful with transfer. So of course, at Montcalm Community College, we have a lot of students who transfer on to a 4-year degree. So our instructors our counselors are very familiar with that and there to help you with that process. And then of course, we have a lot of support built in with our student services. So just to mention a few of those, like I just mentioned, counseling and advising, but we also have career advising. So if you come to us and start with us with some of those general education classes, even if you don't know for sure what you want to study down the road, we have a career advisor that you can work with one-on-one appointments to kind of get a better idea of yourself and your interests and what you might want to do. And this is her, Amy Z. And then in addition to that, once you're in your actual classes, you have a lot of support too. So we have one-on-one tutoring for every class, no matter what you're studying. We have a writing center, a math center. So both of those, math and the math center, they're going to help you look at the math in a variety of different ways. If math isn't maybe your favorite subject or something you struggle with, you can work one-on-one with our math center. Same thing with the writing center. They can help you to develop like a topic, narrow down your topic, structure your paragraphs in your paper. And then we do have a food source and we have accessibility services as well. In terms of like the campus experience or campus life, so with our facilities, we do have that Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a rock climbing wall. We have a gym. Students do a lot of different things in the gym. They may play badminton, volleyball, pickleball, basketball. Excuse me. We also have a fitness center. And then in terms of activities, we have a couple of things. One, we've just brought on a new director of athletics. So he's looking to bring sports long-term to Montcalm Community College, competitive sports, but at the moment, we're running intramural sports where students will play against each other at the institution. So we were recently running volleyball competitions. We had pickleball tournaments and things like that. And then also we have a lot of clubs. We have about 17 different clubs. Most of them are directly related to the programs of study. So if you are in our agribusiness or agriculture operations program, we have an ag club, and the ag club will do things like hanging baskets in the spring or putting together food baskets at Thanksgiving time. And then for our business students, or really any students, we have Business Professionals of America, and we have a very competitive team that does really well. So opportunities like that. For nursing, we have a nursing club. For criminal justice, we have a criminal justice club. And then, of course, one of the great things about your local community colleges is that the cost is going to be very low. So here you can see our in-district rate is about $115. And if you're looking at those 4-year institutions, it's going to be closer to $400 or $500. And we're talking per credit hour. So there's a lot of savings. This graphic is showing a 1 year in district on average at Montcalm Community College is $3,390 for a full-time student for 1 year. And then this is more of what that would be at a 4-year university or a private college. So as you can see, there's a lot of savings involved with going to your local community college, and you're getting the same classes, the same education. You can take those things that you've done, transfer to a 4-year school, and your degree will be exactly the same as a student who started from day one at that 4-year school. And then, of course, things to keep in mind in terms of finances and helping to fund school is to complete the financial aid application through the federal government. So that's the FAFSA. We highly recommend that students complete that just to see if they do qualify for things like Pell money, that free money to help pay for school, or low interest loans. And then also we have scholarships and a variety of scholarships offered to students. And we have one single application that you complete to be considered for all $380,000 worth of scholarships that we give out. And a lot of those scholarships will be focused on things like the program that you're interested in, or the fact that you're a new student, or maybe a recent graduate from high school. So a lot of our scholarships really are not academic focused. And so we encourage students to apply to our scholarships. That's a great opportunity for funding. In terms of class structure, we have classes that are, of course, in person, but then we also have online classes. So that's where there's no days and times that the class meets. You just complete all your work by a certain deadline. And then we have hybrid, where it might be a mix of the two. If you have like a class that's 3 hours a week, you might do an hour and a half in person, and then the other hour and a half maybe online. And then we also offer a format called Live Online. And that's where you might join on Thursdays at 6 p.m., but from your computer at home, like through Zoom or through Teams, joining your classmate and instructor for the class period. And then I like to bring up dual enrollment as an opportunity, if you are still in high school, that you can get a head start with dual enrollment, and you can dual enroll with us as well. So dual enrollment is essentially that opportunity to take college classes while you're still in high school. Some of the major advantages is, of course, that dual credit. So a lot of times, if you were to take one of our college English classes, you would get credit for, of course, college English, but also likely fulfill like your junior English requirement or your senior English requirement. So you're taking one class, but you're getting credit for college and high school both. Another big advantage is that your high school will have an allotment, a certain amount of money that helps to pay for the cost of typically the tuition and fees of the class. Most of the time, because our tuition and fee is so low, it covers the entire cost of the class. And then some institutions or some high schools may allow you to use those funds towards paying for books. So for some students, they may be able to take college classes completely for free through dual enrollment. And then, of course, there's that idea of getting an early start with college and getting that experience and becoming more confident in yourself, that you can do well in college, and learning those important skills like buying textbooks for the first time. And then, of course, after you graduate, you could either continue with us or transfer those classes to another institution. So the first step, if you're interested in dual enrollment, is to have a conversation with your high school counselor. We do also have a great page on montcalm.edu. If you go there, you can just search dual enrollment, or you could Google dual enrollment at Montcalm Community College, and you can read all the details of our program and how it works. And then another thing that I really like to emphasize that's typically unique about your local community colleges is that we operate on open admissions. So no matter what's kind of happened in high school and what your GPA is looking like or your test scores are looking like, we're always a starting point at any time in your life. So with us, open admissions just means, well, first of all, it's free to apply, but also that once you apply, you're accepted no matter what. So just in summary, my name is Emily. This is my contact information here, my email and my phone number, which is you can call or text. And then also I like to just mention a few important things to consider. So if you are a senior moving into your fall of your senior year this coming August, a good first step with us, if you're thinking about us as one of your options, is to complete our online application, which you can easily find. Again, if you Google Montcalm Community College, you'll find a big yellow button for our application at the top of our page. And then our scholarships are something that you want to consider in the fall of your senior year. If you live close by and you want to come out for a campus tour, we've got a visit page. Again, if you just Google that, visiting MCC, you'll find it's really easy to book tours or schedule a tour on our visit page. And then just keep in mind that the financial aid application will open in October 1st of your senior year. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Emily. We do have a couple of questions in the chat that I want to put out there. The first one is, do you have a program that provides training for metalsmithing and jewelry making?
Fantastic question. No, we do not have for metalsmith and jewelry making. Welding would be as close as you could get.
Huh, okay. Then the next question, actually, the next two questions you kind of answered, but they are, do you offer classes that can be taken online? And you said you did.
Right. So, and I can add a little bit to that. So at this point, there's only one degree with us that you could complete fully online, and that is our office administration degree. But most every one of our general education classes that comes from, if you're from Michigan, the Michigan Transfer Agreement, which is essentially agreement across institutions to say that like these general education classes are going to transfer really well to other schools in Michigan. So again, like I talked about, we're a great starting point, even if you wanted to complete online general education classes with us, because again, pretty much most of our general education classes are going to be found every semester online. You could take those with us, probably complete at least a year's worth of a degree just in general education classes online. And another thing to consider, which you often see students do, so let's say that you did want to go for a 4-year degree for metalsmith. You could start at that other institution, but become a guest student with us and take classes online that will transfer into your program there at the same time that you're at that other institution. So there's a lot of different ways that you can take advantage of our online classes.
Wow, that's really good. And they asked the question, is there a deadline for enrollment?
Essentially,
but you answered, you did answer.
Did I? Okay. Well, essentially for enrollment, you can enroll in a class up until the first day of the class. So like if you're thinking about starting with us this fall and our classes start on August 20th this year, you would have really until about August 20th to get enrolled in your classes. So there's a lot of flexibility there leading up to the start of the class.
Emily, I have two questions for you. The first is, do you guys have dormitories or you do? Okay.
No.
Oh, you were just
saying good question.
Okay.
And the answer would be no.
Okay.
We don't have any housing at the moment. It's a future goal of our current president, which is excellent, but at the moment, no housing.
Okay. And the second question, when a student enrolls as a freshman, can they really, truly complete in 2 years and get the associate's degree, or is that a roundabout time period that you encourage and push students towards? Can it actually be completed in 2 years?
Yes, it can be completed in 2 years. So if you would go full time. So our typical 2-year associate degree on average is going to be 60 credits. It has to at least be 60 credits. Some programs may end up being 61 or 62, something like this. But that would look like 30 credits a year. And if you go like a traditional full time, like let's say you go in the fall and the spring, you would do 15 credits or about 4 or 5 classes per semester. And at least 2 semesters a year, and then you would be able to complete in 2 years' time. So yes, it is realistic. And we really encourage it because a lot of the statistics that are coming out are showing that students who go full-time are more likely to complete than students who go part-time.
Okay. And 1 year of that 2-year is liberal arts or general studies, and then that second year would be towards the major that they would select?
So typically, yes, but there's the flexibility, right? So if you sat down with one of our academic advisors or counselors and you wanted to take a course in your major, even in your first semester, along with your general education courses, you're welcome to do that. And so that's kind of up to you. Maybe you want to make sure that it's really what you want to do early on. So there is definitely that flexibility, as long as there's not like a prerequisite course to that course. And a lot of our introductory courses to your major, you would be able to take those without necessarily having to complete a full year of the general education classes.
Okay, and so then full-time per semester is considered 12 to 15 credit hours?
Typically, yes. Yeah. And then that goes hand in hand too with the financial aid piece, right? Where there's part-time with financial aid and full-time. So that pairs together with that too.
So then conceivably at the end of one full year, you would have had completed 24 to 30 credits.
Correct.
Towards your general education classes the first year, and 24 to 30 credits towards your major the second year.
That's correct on average. And the only exception that I'll add to that is these transfer pathways.
Okay.
So, and let me just go ahead and share an actual page from our website, because these transfer pathways are new. I think I want to say last year were worked on and published in the state of Michigan, and they're a really great new opportunity. And a lot of times that, of course, is what we see. We see students wanting to transfer long-term to a 4-year. So here's our transfer page. And we do a lot of great things on this page. One of the things I love is this transferring institutions and guides, where we connect you directly with the contact information of the transfer rep and other information related to our major institutions in the state of Michigan. So it's really easy that in that sense. To start working with your future institution that you might want to transfer to. But also we have the Michigan Transfer Agreement, which is those general education courses that are going to transfer well, where you can see that full list here. And here's our new MI transfer pathways that came out last year. So you can see the general areas. Let's say you want to go into criminal justice. You can see here, not only here are the 4-year institutions that you can start with us with this 2-year pathway with criminal justice, and then you can finish with the listed 4-year degrees at the listed institutions. And again, you can see a lot of our major institutions in the state of Michigan being listed here. And then here's the program information, where you can actually see a breakdown of the classes that you would take with us before you transfer to that 4-year institution. And so that's where this is the major place where you're going to see that you're not going to do quite 10 classes in your major with us. You can see here they do about 3 classes related to even criminal justice before they transfer on to the 4-year. So with those transfer pathways, you're going to see a lot more focus on general education credits and a little bit less of the classes related to the major, because it's really prepping you to just focus on that major at the 4-year institution.
Okay, good deal. Thank you so much, Emily. That was an excellent presentation. Are there any more questions in the chat before we bring our session to a close? Okay. No more questions. Thank you was the comment. All right, then. We will bring this to a conclusion. Again, Emily, thanks so much for your time. Presentation was excellent. Thank you guys for joining. Everybody have a great day and a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Bye now.
Bye.